The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel is a book packed with timeless insights that can transform the way you think about money. In this video, we are going to talk about all the key lessons and crucial points that Morgan Housel focused on this book. 1. No one is crazy. Everyone makes financial decisions based on their unique personal history. For example, someone who grew up during hyperinflation will view savings and risk very differently from someone who only experienced stable growth. What seems irrational to one person may be perfectly reasonable to another. This means we must understand that personal experience heavily colors financial behavior. 2. Luck and risk. In this chapter, Morgan Housel emphasizes that luck and risk are two sides of the same coin, and both play a powerful role in financial outcomes, often more than we want to admit. He uses the story of Bill Gates to illustrate this idea. Gates was undoubtedly smart, ambitious, and talented, but part of his success was also due to the fact that he happened to attend one of the only high schools in America that had a computer at the time. This rare opportunity gave him early access to technology, which most students didn't have, and it played a key role in shaping his future. 3. Never enough. Chasing more money without boundaries leads to disaster. Many people who had it all lost everything because they wanted even more. It's important to define enough and be content with it. Avoiding greed is critical for financial survival. 4. Confounding compounding. Compounding is one of the most powerful forces in finance but is often underestimated. Warren Buffett is rich not only because he's a great investor, but because he has been investing for over 75 years. The key to building wealth is time and consistency. 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Different skills are needed to grow wealth versus keeping it. Taking calculated risks may help you get rich, but humility, frugality, and sometimes paranoia help you stay rich. 6. Tails, you win. In investing in life, a small number of events often account for the majority of results, a concept known as tail events. In finance, this means that a few big winners in your portfolio may generate most of your total returns, while many other investments may do very little or even lose money. Morgan Housel highlights that even successful investors like Warren Buffett owe much of their wealth to a handful of exceptional decisions. The key takeaway is to accept that not everything you do will succeed, and that it's normal for success to be unevenly distributed. Instead of aiming for constant perfection, you should focus on staying in the game long enough to catch those rare, high-impact moments. 7. Freedom. The highest form of wealth is the ability to control your time. True wealth is doing what you want, when you want, with whom you want. Time independence brings more satisfaction than any material object. 8. Man-in-the-car paradox. People try to signal wealth to gain respect. Buying fancy stuff rarely brings the admiration people think it does. Real respect is earned through behavior, not purchases. Unless you bought a Koenigsegg Jesko, then you have my respect. 9. Wealth is what you don't see. Spending is visible, but real wealth is hidden. It's the savings, investments, and financial safety nets that aren't flaunted. Many who appear rich are not wealthy because they spend everything they earn, and end up spending more than they earn, which leads to debt. 10. Save money. Saving money is about flexibility and security. You don't need a specific reason to save. Savings buy time, reduce anxiety, and provide options in uncertain times. 11. Reasonable is better than rational. When it comes to personal finance, you don't have to make the most rational decisions. You just need to make ones that are reasonable and sustainable for you. Purely rational financial decisions often ignore human emotion, behavior, and real-life complexity. For example, from a mathematical perspective, it may seem irrational to pay off a low-interest mortgage early instead of investing that money elsewhere for potentially higher returns. But for many people, the emotional comfort and peace of mind that comes from being debt-free is worth more than the marginal gain of investing. 12. Adapt. The world is always changing. Historical data can't predict every scenario. Be prepared for things you can't foresee, and never assume the past fully predicts the future. 13. Room for error. Always build a margin of safety. Plan for the possibility that things will go wrong. This is the difference between being fragile and being financially resilient. 14. Flexibility. Your future self will not want all the same things you do now. Be cautious with long-term commitments that assume you won't change. Flexibility in planning allows for personal growth. 15. Nothing's free. Everything in finance has a cost, even if that cost isn't obvious or directly monetary. Many people seek high returns or financial growth while trying to avoid the discomfort that comes with it, such as volatility, uncertainty, or the emotional ups and downs of market fluctuations. But the truth is, those challenges are the price you pay to earn long-term rewards. For example, earning strong returns in the stock market requires enduring periods of loss, fear, and patience. This fee isn't charged up front. It's paid through emotional resilience and staying invested through tough times. 16. You and me. People have different goals, timeframes, and values. What's smart for one person may be wrong for another. Don't blindly follow others' financial moves without understanding their context. 17. The seduction of pessimism. When it comes to money, people tend to give more weight to negative predictions because they feel urgent, cautious, and protective. When someone says the market is going to crash or that a financial crisis is coming, it grabs attention and feels intellectually serious. On the other hand, optimistic views often sound naive or overly simplistic, even if they're statistically more likely to be right in the long run. Housel points out that while bad news happens fast and feels dramatic, progress tends to be slow and steady, and therefore less noticeable. For example, economic growth, technological innovation, and rising living standards usually happen over decades, while a recession or crash happens in days or weeks. This imbalance makes pessimism more emotionally powerful, even though historically, the world has consistently improved over time. 18. When you'll believe anything. People believe stories more than statistics. Narratives are powerful, but can also mislead. Base decisions on evidence, not hype. Now the main key points I want you to take away from this video are: keep learning, have patience, and save aggressively. Use reasonable expectations, understand the role of chance, and aim for long-term sustainability. Save more than you think you need, not because of a specific goal, but because it gives you flexibility and freedom in life. Be prepared for surprises, both good and bad. Don't assume the future will behave like the past. Accept volatility and uncertainty as the cost of earning long-term returns. Understand that your financial plan should suit your personality, not someone else's. Avoiding financial ruin allows you to stay in the game long enough to experience long-term gains.